Welcome to Coombe Abbey Country Park. So we're just outside Coventry here. Absolutely stunning country park here. This is where the A station will be set up, just outside, I don't know, the visitor centre, I guess they call it. That's where the toilets are in there. This car park is just for the disabled access, but you can see in the background the main car park as well. Probably a little bit too far if you want to be leaving stuff to get to on every lap, but obviously we'll have our setup here for you to leave a small bag if you just want to be sort of, I don't know, if you've got nutrition or spare pair of trainers or whatever. But if you've got a full change of kit and loads of stuff, then you probably want to leave it in your car, really. But it's not too far if you're only going to go there once. But like I say, you can just leave stuff at the HQ. But this is the most stunning place that you can come to, just outside Coventry, just off the M6, and let's go and have a little run around and I'll show you some of the bits. You immediately start with this very beautiful little downhill. You do come back up it later. This beautiful little downhill towards the water, the formal gardens, and sort of the main wood that most of the event takes part in. But absolutely beautiful. There's always people here. Whenever you come here, always people here. So you just need to be mindful of that. But there's enough space that you can go around them quite easily. So you don't go over the little bridge towards the Go Ape. You carry on, going straight next to the water. It's just down there, and you keep running along the path. Don't know how well it'll come out. Oh, there's two herons just on the other side there. So as you can see, we get lots of wildlife around here as you're going out on your route. Heron or crane, something to do with how they carry their necks as they fly. I don't know which one's which. I'm going to say heron, but I don't think they want to be on video. But that's within a quarter of a mile of the start, so absolutely beautiful here for wildlife. There's always things going on, lots to look at. If you start to come through this wooded area, really beautiful water coming through, lovely little waterfall on that side, and then you can see the ground conditions here, effectively old tarmac with a bit of gravel on top, really runnable, pretty flat, tiny incline, but you wouldn't really feel it until you start getting really tired, that is. A lot of the route is very similar to this, where you're running underneath sort of not overgrown trees, but through sort of thick dense woodland on these really nice wide tracks. The first maybe mile and a half is very similar to this. You're effectively doing a perimeter around this woodland area before you go back out the same way that you came in with a little run around the meadow. But when it's hot, you do have some protection underneath the trees, which does make it a lot nicer. So this section is on sort of like the bottom side of the rectangle as you go around the wood, effectively. And behind me there is, I believe, a JLR, or for those of you not in the Midlands, Jaguar Land Rover. I think some sort of work that they do there. And because we're in the Midlands, you're not able to be more than 5 minutes drive away from somewhere that is JLR, or from somebody that works there. That's what I learned when I moved up here. Everybody thinks you know what JLR means because it appears that everybody works there. But I believe that in the, like I say, in the background over there is one of their many offices or plants or something in the Midlands. Again, more beautiful woodland to run around, nice and tight to these great big trees. Just very peaceful. And there's a big crow up there that I'm going to chase. Well, he's in my way. I'm sure he'll fly away eventually. There he goes, off on the route. When you come out of the wooded area, you then run parallel to the river, the pond. I'm never sure what it is here, but the other side of these sort of weeds
There's a lovely pond, you get to see it at points, but filming this in May after lots of heat means that the stinging nettles are mad, so you can't see them at the moment here, but at other points you can see where all the ducks and birds and swans and all sorts are, and then you lead towards the go ape section that is just up here. This section here, you run underneath the go ape, so you can see there's nobody on at the moment. Obviously when we're here during the week there's very few people coming to do go ape, it's more of a weekend thing, but it's pretty cool running through this bit. As you can see on the ground, it's just gravel throughout, so we'll only ever be here really between April and October, because the meadow is only open between April and October, and that's a key part of our course. So it's never going to be thick deep mud here, much like a lot of our courses, but potentially can get a bit grubby, especially with all the leaf drop and so on and so on. But by the time April comes around, a lot of that's cleared. But as you can see, you sort of go right through the go ape section here, so if we were to be here on a Saturday or Sunday, this would be a little bit busy and not particularly fun, which is one of the many reasons that we aren't here on a Saturday or Sunday. As you come out of the go ape section, you do a little triangle across this open grassland that's in the middle, so it just gets the sun on your back. If it is a bit of a cooler day or it's raining, you're going to get wet, but nice grassland. As I said about the rest of the course, never going to be thick mud, even in the depths of winter it won't be, but we don't come here in the winter, so you don't need to worry about that. You see this section on the way out and on the way back in as well. Another lovely pond, always full of ducks, so always something to look at, keep you interested. As you come back towards the Go Ape Bridge, you might be thinking, oh, about to finish the lap, but you're not. We've still got the meadow to go around, so you need to remember that bit, because you might get a bit excited a little bit early. As we cross over the bridge, rather than going left up to the finish, we go right into the meadow over here, the beautiful meadow. It's only open from April to October, which is why pretty much all of our events will be between April and October, because otherwise the lap's a bit short without making you do circles around the car park, which isn't any fun. This area is the meadow area, beautifully peaceful. Very few people come along this section compared to the area around the Go Ape and bits like that. It is quite uneven underfoot, so you can see that there's a very clear and obvious path to follow, but it's not flat as in side to side, so you can see all the little divots, all the little mole holes, so you do just need to sort of be sensible, pay attention as you're going along. You don't need to have great big trail shoes on, right? As I've mentioned multiple times, we're only ever here in the summer months, or the spring summer months, so it's never going to be particularly muddy, but it can get slippery. If it's been a bit wet, it can get a bit slippy on the surface, or if it's just sort of got a bit of morning dew on it, then it can potentially be a bit slippier as we go up the other side. Effectively, again, this is just a big square that we go around, so as you're climbing and rise and falling, potentially it can get a bit slippy underfoot, but we've not really ever had any issues in here. It's mainly people sort of hitting a bit they didn't think was as high, little twist of an ankle, that sort of thing, but it just sort of keeps you on your toes. It is trail running after all. We're up in the far corner of the meadow section now. You can see right over the top of the meadow, well, from the top of the meadow you can see right over the rest of the meadow. Just beautifully peaceful, lovely running. It's a slight incline, you'll know you're doing it, but it's nothing much. Again, as I always say in these videos, me being out of breath is no reflection on the course and more just my level of fitness.
and trying to talk, having just run a bit. I should probably walk more of it when I'm doing the talking. But it's absolutely stunning out here. It's always going to be open to the elements. So if it's a really nice day like it is today, it's going to feel warm. If it's lashing it down with rain, you're going to know about it. As you come along these sections, you do see lots of wildlife. There is a rabbit in there. Whether you can see it or not, I do not know. Whether he's moved away, he's not there now. So you either saw him run, which I'll find out when I get back, or you didn't see anything at all. You start to head back down as you effectively finish the rectangle that is the meadow. And then if you're doing if you're here for the 10k, this effectively is the end of your lap. You'll go past the water station again, and then you'll go back round, you'll do a whole nother lap. And then when you get to the end and go through the gates, you'll turn right to the finish line. And if you're doing the 6-hour challenge events, when you get to the end of the meadow, you do a right and you go to the finish line. As with all of my events, all the Big Bear events, they will all be heavily signposted, so there's no need to memorise any of this at all. It's just to give you a bit of a flavour as to what these different events are going to look like, so you can decide if you want to come along. Hopefully you come and do them and you see these videos, and you think, yes, I do want to come along, because that is completely the point, right? But I don't want people turning up with expectations that it's going to be something that it isn't, and then effectively being guaranteed to be disappointed, because that's not what we're about. We want you to come along and enjoy it. So then when you get out of this meadow section, right turn up to the finish. There'll probably be loads of people up there, so I might not record the actual finish, but it's exactly the same as where you start. Yeah, back at the visitor centre, back to the toilets, back for another lap, back for your medal, whatever it is that you decide. As you climb up the finish, you climb up this path. It is a nice little sting in the tail. If you're doing the 10k, you'll finish just behind me under the arch, just there. And if you're doing one of the 6-hour events, this will be where the HQ is set up. It's up to you to decide whether that's the end of your day, or whether you're going to go out and do all of that again. But it is beautiful here. Toilets are just over there, and it's just a lovely place to come for a run. So if you want to see when we're at Coombe Abbey Country Park next, go to bigbearevents.net and check out our events.